Today we're taking a deep dive into the world of animal rights as we explore the ideas of one of the most influential philosophers in this field, Peter Singer. Let's get started. Peter Singer is an Australian philosopher who has been a prominent figure in the animal rights movement since the 1970s. He is best known for his book Animal Liberation, which is often considered the founding text of the modern animal rights movement. Singer's ideas challenge our ethical relationship with animals, making us question how we treat them and why. To understand Singer's ideas on animal rights, we must first discuss utilitarianism, the ethical theory that he adopts. Utilitarianism, in its simplest form, seeks to maximize overall happiness or pleasure, while minimizing suffering or pain. It aims to create the greatest good for the greatest number of beings. Singer argues that the morally relevant factor in determining how we should treat other beings is their capacity for suffering or experiencing pleasure, which he refers to as sentience. He believes that both humans and animals are sentient beings, capable of experiencing pain and pleasure, and therefore their interests should be considered with respect to these common capacities. Now let's talk about speciesism, a term popularized by Singer. Speciesism is the unjustified discrimination against or exploitation of individuals based on their species membership. According to Singer, speciesism is as morally wrong as other forms of discrimination, like racism or sexism. Just as we would not discriminate against someone based on their race or gender, we should not discriminate against an individual based on their species. Singer's concept of the expanding circle helps us understand how our moral attitudes have evolved over time. The circle represents the scope of our moral concern, which has historically grown to include more and more beings. Initially, our circle only included family members and close friends, but it has since expanded to encompass people of different races, religions, and genders, as our moral understanding has progressed. Singer suggests that the next logical step in this evolution is to include sentient animals within our circle of moral concern. A key argument Singer puts forth to support his views on animal rights is the argument for marginal cases. This argument points out that if we use cognitive abilities as the basis for moral consideration, we would have to exclude some humans who have intellectual disabilities, for instance, and this is not something we'd want to do. Conversely, some animals like dolphins or chimpanzees exhibit cognitive abilities that surpass those of certain humans. Singer argues that if we grant moral consideration to all humans, regardless of cognitive abilities, we must also extend that consideration to animals who possess similar or greater cognitive abilities. Singer's call for animal liberation is a plea for us to reconsider our treatment of animals, particularly those used in factory farming, experimentation, and entertainment. He argues that the suffering these animals experience far outweighs any benefits we might gain, and that we have a moral obligation to reduce or eliminate this suffering when possible. This could include adopting a vegan or vegetarian diet, supporting cruelty-free products, and advocating for better treatment of animals in various industries. Peter Singer's ideas on animal rights have inspired countless activists to fight for the well-being of animals. However, his views have also been met with controversy, as some critics argue that he places too much emphasis on animal rights at the expense of certain human rights, or that his utilitarian approach can lead to morally questionable conclusions. Despite the controversy, Singer's work remains an essential starting point for anyone interested in understanding animal rights and our moral responsibilities.